How does Hogwarts Legacy run on the Xbox Ally X and the MSI Claw 8 AI Plus? Now on the Claw 8 we have an Intel chipset, the Intel 258V, and on the Xbox Ally X we have an AMD chipset, the Z2 Extreme. So how does Hogwarts Legacy run on these two handhelds? In my previous video I talked about Resident Evil 4 the remake on these two handhelds, so make sure you guys check it out. There was a clear winner. Make sure you guys like and subscribe so I can continue making these videos, and let me know in the comments below which other game you guys want to see for the next video. Now before I begin, let's have a look at the game on Steam Store. So on Steam Store, as you guys can see, it was released in February 2023 and has an overall rating of 91% with over 133,000 ratings. So this is one of the best games you can get on Steam. Now let's have a look at the performance of this game on these two handhelds. So I'll load both of them at the same time. Let's see which one loads first. So as you guys just saw, on the Claw 8 the loading is a bit faster, probably because of the 32 gigabytes of RAM on the Claw 8 versus the 24 gigabytes of RAM on the Xbox Ally X. Now let me make sure that the TDP is the same on both. So on the Claw 8 I'm at 15 watts using total about 22. On the Xbox Ally X I am on the silent. Let me change it to the silent mode. The screen is at 50% and we are on silent mode. I'll make sure the screen is also at 50% on this one. So 50% brightness using 15 watts and total about 22 watts. On the Xbox Ally X using total about 20 watts, well 20 watts. I'll make sure that the wattage is exactly the same on the Claw 8, so let me go ahead and reduce it by one more. Okay, so now it's using 21 watts on both of these handhelds, and in this indoor area I'm getting around, well, under 60 FPS on the Claw 8, and on the Xbox Ally X also under 50 FPS. But let me go to a more intense area. So on the Xbox Ally X I will run to a more intense area so you can properly check the performance. So in this area, as you guys can see, there's a lot going on, and I will just check the settings. Running on the Ultra preset with ray tracing off, XeSS on quality, frame generation is off, and motion blur is off. And I'll make sure we have the exact same settings on the Claw 8. So ultra quality preset with ray tracing off, and using XeSS on quality with frame generation off and motion blur off. So exactly the same on both. And let me show you the resolution. Resolution is 800p on the Claw 8, and also on the Xbox Ally X. As you guys can see, resolution is also the same, so everything is exactly the same. Running at silent mode. Let me go ahead and go to the same place on the Claw 8. So I'm in the exact same place, and with 21 total watts used on the Claw 8, I'm getting around, in this spot, I'm getting around mid 40s. So 21 watts total, mid 40s. On the Xbox Ally X, in the exact same spot with the exact same settings and the exact same total battery, I'm getting around high 40s. So high 40s and hitting 50 on the Xbox Ally X. On the Claw 8, it's high 40s, not exactly hitting 50. So it seems like maybe 1 or 2 FPS more on the Xbox Ally X, even though we are using XeSS, which should perform better on the Intel chipset. It looks like it's doing just a little bit better on the Xbox Ally X, surprisingly. But not by that much, maybe 1 or 2 FPS here and there, you know, so almost the same performance on the silent mode. Now let me go ahead and increase the TDP to performance mode. And the same on the Claw 8. Let me go ahead and increase the performance. So let me have a look at the total watts used on the Xbox Ally X. The total watts used is 31, and we have about 30.6, so around 31 on the Claw 8. Now let's see how the game performs on the Claw 8 at 30.5 watts, 30.7, well, almost 31 watts. In the exact same spot, I am getting, as you guys can see, mid 60s, so around 66, 67, 68 FPS. And on the Xbox Ally X, with 31 total watts used, I am getting around high 50s, around 58, 55 FPS, 57, 59. So it looks like we are doing much better on the Claw 8, you know. So let's just make sure. Yes, so under 60 FPS, around 57 FPS, 58 FPS on the Xbox Ally X. So we can just say, for example, just to get a good comparison, in this area, getting 58, 57 FPS. So 58, 57 on the Xbox Ally X, and 68, 67 on the Claw 8, using the same total watts, even going into the 70s, but around 68 to 67 compared to 58 to 57, so 10 FPS more on the Claw 8 using the same total watts. So this, you know, just goes to show you guys how power efficient the Intel chipset is on the Claw 8. The Ryzen 2 Extreme chip, the Z2 Extreme chip on the Xbox Ally X, it does seem to be providing less FPS with the same TDP. However, the total battery has now come down to about 26 watts on the performance mode. So I just want to make sure that the TDP is exactly the same. So now on the performance mode, the TDP has come down to about 26-25 watts total. So at 26-25 watts total battery used, I'm getting around 60, well, just under 60 FPS. So I'll now match the TDP on the Claw 8 to match total 26 watts. So let me make sure that the TDP is correct. So using about Let me drop it down by one more just to be very accurate and fair. So now I'm using 25.6, well, around 25 total watts on the Claw 8, and in this area, in this exact same spot, I'm getting around 57 FPS, so 57 FPS at 25 watts. And the Xbox Ally X with 26 watts, I'm getting also 57 FPS. So it looks like the performance is neck and neck, basically almost exactly the same on both the Claw 8 and the Xbox Ally X on performance mode. Now let's go ahead and bump up the TDP to turbo mode. So let me go ahead and increase the TDP to turbo mode. And let me increase the TDP in here. So now on the Xbox Ally X, the total battery used is around, well, 42 watts, but it's going to come down in a bit. So let me just move around for a bit, and there you go. It's coming down to about 30. Well, let's just wait for a few seconds because it does bump up in the first few seconds. So I'm just waiting for the battery to come down for a little bit. So in this area on turbo mode, I'm using total battery of around 43 watts, as you guys can see, and I'm getting around 65 FPS. So 65 FPS at 42 total watts. Let's see how it performs on the Claw 8. So the Claw 8 I will also put at 25 watts because remember the turbo mode is 25 watts on the Xbox Ally X, so I'll put the TDP to 25 on the Claw 8 as well. And I don't like going over 25 watts on the Claw 8 because this is more than good enough. But even though I've set it to 25 watts, it's only using about 24, so it's really power efficient and using 35 watts on the Claw 8. So total 35 watts on the Claw 8 and 42 on the Xbox Ally X. So 7 watts less on the Claw 8, and in this exact same area, as you guys can see, I'm getting over 70 FPS. So 7 watts less than the Xbox Ally X, but the performance is, it looks like the performance is better at 70, well, over 70 FPS. So over 70 FPS on the Claw 8 and around 67 on the Xbox Ally X. The TDP has come down to about 37 now, so 36. So now we can get a more fair comparison. So about 36 watts total, giving us about 65, 66 FPS, 67. So around 66 FPS on the, well, 67 FPS on the Xbox Ally X. 67 on the Xbox Ally X and 75, well, 73 on the Claw 8. So about 5 FPS more on the Claw 8 with the same total battery used compared to the Xbox Ally X. So as you guys can see, with the exact same settings, it's performing better on the Claw 8 as compared to the Xbox Ally X. Make sure you guys like, subscribe, and comment down below and let me know if there's any other games you want me to do in my next video. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.